Hello everyone, and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. We have a 3v3 for you guys today, except, well, kind of not really. So, when we were setting up the deployment here, one of the opponents, I think it was Rapid Chicken, did drop out, so it's just the captain and the corporal left on that side. So it's a bit of a 3v2. It's unfortunate, it does happen when you have open public lobbies, things like that, and the opposing team was just sort of public lobby. So I'm taking Scandinavia, and I'm trying to head over to Bravo as quick as my little wheels can take me. My allies, Wombat to Combat spelled backwards, and, maple syrup, are playing in Delta and Foxtrot respectively with Israel and USA respectively. So we have a tap opener and an AH-1J Cobra, and this can be pretty brutal. I mean, the stingers on that guy are very nice indeed, but taken down by Iroquois Yekri, and both, not one, but both helicopters go down really quickly without really being able to get much by way of kills. So, apologies, throat's been a little bit weird lately, not really entirely sure why, but such is life. So the Super Puma that the DAP shot at did manage to deposit those Iroquois, and we have taken the first casualties on the field today. It looks like the Doctor is headed toward Foxtrot, and Panther is headed toward both Alpha and Bravo. So my own Scout Defender is trying to get some good look here, and we are fanning out as well. So I had just made this deck at the recommendation of Wombat to Combat, and there are a couple things in it that I end up changing just a little bit to suit my playstyle a little bit better. But Light Rifleman here from Maple doing a lot of good work, and if you've seen the title, I don't really do that much in Bravo, so we're not really going to be looking over there. I think my, our opponent's solution to getting 3v2'd is just to rush Fox and to hold an Alpha and basically try and force a points advantage, because, well, we have the micro advantage, so the only thing that they can really get us with is local force concentration. But ITO 90 running into our front line there is a really big mistake, and that's a really expensive mistake as well. 90 points worth of fantastic AA taken out by Humvees and Light Riflemen. Probably the best kill that Light Riflemen have gotten this side of the century, but, you know, that's just... I mean, there's a lot to manage here, and starting with more points, it's 1,500 each, I guess, because the third person dropped out. It can be really challenging if you're not used to that sort of higher sort of system. But Nighthawks are coming in, M11P Abrams firing in, and just the amount of death on Panther's side as the firing concave from Wombat and Maple just goes into full swing is really, truly impressive. So this tactic, rushing this part of the woods, I have seen that before, particularly in 1v1s and 2v2s, where your opponents on the blue force side today might not think of really defending this well. So if you can get into these woods, it's very difficult to defend against. But if they do set up something here, I mean, it's a natural firing concave. We have Pinzer Yekri, we have Zwidosi, Renago Yekri, all taking fire from Magax, from Maglons. There's even a Para back here that's used one of his spike missiles. Meanwhile, as I said, there's not a ton going on my side of the board, but, I mean, I'm sneaking around the side of Bravo, I'm getting shot at by a KT, because, of course I am, and my Falscom Jaeger are not really enjoying that too much. AA is something that I'm not terribly comfortable with the Scandinavia deck yet. Automatics are very good, but their range is a little bit more limited than you might expect with the whole reputation that they have as just being miracle, wonder, solve all your AA problems type deal. It's really not that simple. You have to micro them well, you have to position them well, you have to take care of these guys and they'll take care of you, but if you don't have them properly positioned, they'll do nothing. So that KT's up there. I don't really have much AA in the deck other than some vehicles mostly, so a little bit of something that needs a bit of a fix. Bravo has been capped though, Delta's capped. I don't really know why Alpha wasn't. In theory they have two command vehicles. Only thing I can think of, since Fox is counter-capped, is that they went Charlie Fox with that, so not necessarily how I would have done it. You have somebody in Charlie, then whoever's going Alpha moves up there, you get the +2 zone secured, and that takes care of the +3 taking problem that they have at the moment. So Yekri and KTs will get the edge here, and it looks like Foxtrot is a losing battle, despite the bloodbath that happened in the trees here. So there's an HH-10 that's screening. Light Rifleman won't be able to stand up to Yekri for all that much longer. And the Pivaz moving over might be able to get a kill, but it's going to be value here that wins out. And the Doctor can afford to trade a little bit worse because his income is a little bit better than Maple's. So looking at this push a little bit more, I mean, the fire support's pretty nice. KT there is nice and in the back and field. I think the beginning push honestly was just a couple too many points and a little bit too much aggression, which otherwise, I mean, this is pretty good order. Seaplane coming in does take out the Pivaz as well, so that's pretty nice. And you can see Maple is getting chipped down a little bit, even Wombat is getting chipped down a little bit, although he's taking a pretty far forward position. Not much on. Usually I don't see these guys. Usually people either take the Zeldas or the 15-point Axarits, but man, I guess 8 frontal armor is quite nice. The autonomy is not great, the speed is horrible. But 10 points, 2 guns, good armor. I mean, that's worth something, so... I mean, hey, whatever scoots your canoe, I guess, but Scots are getting around the side, and at this point I did get a little bit worried that we might just get run around on the end there, so Scot 2s are very fast, and KTs are fast with good guns, right? So if they went around this side, the riflemen and light riflemen won't be able to stop that, and you can see the same thoughts going through both Maple and Wombat's minds here as the Siphon and an HVMS are called out, and I'm also getting a couple units of scout infantry trying to contribute to this fight, because so far, I mean, yeah, we've capped this, we've had some light engagements, we've taken out a helicopter or two, that's really most of it. And if I was a bit more aggressive, I'd probably be pushing into Alpha now, but I mean, even just the presence being here, pushing through on this side of Bravo, is forcing Panther to play defensively, because he has Wombat on his front, he has me on his side. It's a lot of enemy pressure, and that certainly can't be all that comfortable, but the Salamandra is back, the DAP of course from the beginning of the game for my ally, not able to take him out, and you can see those ATGMs being put to really good use against my ally's reinforcements. Hammer's bringing in probably Sanihim. That's usually what goes wheeled, I guess, in Israel deck, not that I really know that too well, but Sapovzi, Stormovzi, wow, that's the 10 strength, jeez, you don't see those every day. I guess the intention is if these guys can get into the town, they'll do very well. Shock training and all that is pretty brutal, but Ontoses are also very brutal, and recoilless rifles. 20-point recoilless rifle vehicles with just huge rates of fire will mulch infantry in the open ground, so those guys not able to get into where they'd be effective. And even then, frankly, I think those do better in the woods than they do in towns. I've seen a lot of people using the non-launcher napalm recently, and I don't know, I think it can sometimes leave a little bit to be desired. So, my Northern Jägeri are moving forward here, trying to push out some Raskazin Korima as well as some Jägeri. And these guys I do actually take out of this deck afterward. It's just that the recoilless rifle didn't impress me that much. I know 1575 meter range is good, I know 12 AP power is good, but the 30% accuracy is just too low. We had an engagement earlier on while stuff was going on the other side of the field against a couple of light vehicles. I had the ambush, I was in the trees, everything was perfect, you couldn't ask for better, facing rear armor even. And they missed. Both, just 2 volleys in a row, 4 shots, nothing. And I know you usually get 1, but even if they did, it wouldn't necessarily be enough to get a kill, so these guys do get phased out, not my favorite thing there, but for right now they're good enough. And you can see the combined arms and, well, teamwork approach here is doing wonders. Nighthawk and Raven coming in from Maple, Ontoses from Maple, but Hammers, and a couple of Israeli units holding out in this part of the town, Shaitet 13, and then I'm also setting up with some recon infantry and SCRV overlooking this whole side, and a couple more infantrymen coming in CV 9030Ns. And all of that's, I mean, we're making up lost ground here, and the initial engagement is starting to tell, just because the, well, the points are adding up, and that is a really rough thing to deal with. But my Northern Jägeri are retreating. This is the other half of why I took these guys out of the deck. They, I mean, yeah, it's 2 decent infantry units against 1, but I don't know. If you like these units, just tell me why in the comments, and maybe I'll give them a try again, but until then, they got replaced with Special Forces, so. Block 15 coming in, and we do manage to shoot down a plane or 2 there. Stormer and all of this a little bit behind the action, but Light Riflemen engaging with Jägeri in close combat, and the M240 is not an exceptional gun, but the Jägeri are so damaged, and there's nice support from LVTP 781. Of course, that frag launcher will make up for a lot of other problems. In the meantime, Spike Team identified, Rangers killed, unfortunately, but I don't know, this was not a heavy hold, and jeez. Look at that, I say it's not a heavy hold, and the HH-10 comes in and just sideshots that tank like it's nothing. Oof. Hawk Pip 3 is out to respond, and this guy is the big boy of all the Hawk Pips, 3,500 meter range, very hard to escape. Of course, very expensive as well, and it is Seed, that gun is on, and here comes the 22 M4P. 2 shots, 2 misses, evac ordered, and this is lucky rather than good. The Hawk Pip should be dead, but instead he gets a revenge kill there as a bit of an unlucky roll of the dice for the Red 4 team takes away what should have been a very nice, safe option. So, Raskazin Korima getting pushed back, Wombat moving forward, and Panther does surrender in the middle here. We've engaged a little bit too well on the sides. I mean, his Jägeri are pushing forward, but now, one-on-one, even in the towns, they should lose to Northland's Jägeri, who of course do have better training. Even though, I mean, Jägeri just brutal infantry there, punching above their weight, especially compared to the Gewehrmen we saw in recent recent videos, just really not doing well despite having been nominally the same training and all of that. I mean, do they? Yeah, regulars. Both regulars. Anyway, Nordland's Jägeri getting off a couple, actually most of their Request rifle shots, but hey, let's look at this. Shooting in at Topaz, 2 shots, 1 kill, Pechota mostly healthy. I don't know, I thought a support vehicle could have done it better, I think. Pave is being engaged, and these guys don't have enough frontal armor to make that really an effective option, particularly against some of the super just heavy armor that's available to Israel. These guys, of course, the 7C Gimmels, 17 frontal armor, 10 rounds a minute with 17 AP power, very nicely balanced tank. One of my personal favorites, if I could just understand the damn deck to begin with, which that's a whole other story for a whole other day. But kills and losses here, very lopsided, 29-75 for the Blue 4 team, 18-35 for Red. Thank you guys for the game, though, Panther and Doctor, and particularly thank you for hanging around after the loss of a teammate there. That is never a fun thing to do. And it ended up with Panther getting double-teamed, which ended up just... it's hard to deal with. I mean, 2 people attacking you on both sides, it's constantly looking back and forth. So, good sportsmanship from Panther and Doctor for hanging around. Alright, well, that's all we've got for this game today. I really didn't do all that much. 315 kills, 190 losses. Just a light skirmish and distraction force mostly, allowing my opponents to, well, feel the wrath of my own allies as well. So, thank you guys for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.